What's going on, guys? Dan with PC Tech Hustle coming at you with another video, and today I got for you guys a video that we are going on a bit of a mission here. We got a mission to see if we can go out on PC Part Picker, put together a $500 gaming PC in or thereabouts that will not only be a viable gaming option now for you to get gaming now, but also be somewhat upgradable in the future. So more on that in just a moment, and that's coming at you guys right now. So let's pan over to my screen here. We're gonna start working on building up a part list, and I kind of already have some slim ideas of what I want to chase after as far as what we can actually foreseeably do here. But let's take a quick look and see where we can actually get with $500 these days with such terrible part availability. Alrighty guys, so we've got PC Part Picker up on the screen, and we're gonna pretty much do this in the raw, other than I kind of already have an idea of what to expect because I know GPUs are just insane. Even ones that are years old now that should be going for around the $150 mark. I know they're already just stupid, either unavailable completely or the prices are either double or triple or something stupid. So anyway, let's start then with an APU, and for a APU that I would recommend if you want to actually get gaming, there really isn't anything better than a Ryzen 5 3400. So let's stick with that, see if we can fill out the rest of the parts list, see if we have any budge room, and then see is there any video card that's really acceptably priced that we can actually go pick up that would actually, you know, be a better option for us. But that remains to be seen. Let's take a look. All right, so as mentioned, I am just simply going to choose the APU, being that we want a 3400G because we know that it can actually get us some type of gaming experience, probably on a very low resolution, kind of pro style settings maybe, where you got everything set to low, but it could get us by possibly in some titles. Now, what's interesting here is this APU already, as we can see, is not available in PC Part Picker. Though the reason I was targeting this is I think we can expect to see it available here, at least probably more available than a GPU, or at least maintain this price. So it looks like it's been selling at Best Buy, Andromeda, Newegg. I don't even know what Andromeda is. That's interesting. I haven't bought from them before, but looks like they've had the same listing prices now. Amazon will experience this once in a while where they have these price hikes where they're just insane. So when you see something like that, that's some type of third-party seller that on Amazon. Don't fall for that. Amazon's normal prices are probably more around the 150 mark, as we see here. But for regardless sake, just to see if we can actually put something together, we might have to hold out for time for some of this stuff to be available, but I think we will hold out less time going for something like this rather than a GPU that's just never going to be available. So let's go ahead and just add that to our list here. All right, so we got that taken care of. Now, because we got a Ryzen 5 3400G, we don't have to use a CPU cooler. It already comes with one, so we're going to skip that category. All right, so then next thing on the list here is we need to go find a motherboard, and I really want to target at least a B450 motherboard. That way we have some overclockability. It allows us to, if we're holding out for a GPU and we're still holding out and nothing's coming along, we can at least maybe give it a little bit of an overclock, the CPU I'm referring to, and give us maybe a couple more frames per second in some titles, maybe a little more in some of the other easier to run titles. So that's kind of why I want to target a B450 board. Could we go cheaper if we went with something like an A320? Sure. So if you guys are after an extreme budget, know that you can do that, but let's see what we can get as far as B450 prices go. So we're going to go down here on the selection list and just click on B450, and I'm just going to plug in the cheapest things I can see here. So no, I don't want to go with that BioStar ASRock. I've used this board before. Okay, so this Gigabyte board, I've used this before actually in my previous $500 build. So yeah, go check that out if you haven't. That was a pretty solid build, by the way. But let's check this out real quick. Just a quick overview of this board. Yeah, so this board is the one I used before. It's got 4 DIMM slots, which is really nice. Gives us some future expandability. Has good or decent, I would say, power delivery to the CPU, as well as it has some heat sinks over the VRM, which gives us some cooling capacity there, as well as, you know, it's got other things that kind of come more standard with all kind of cheap motherboards like this. You know, single M.2 slot, you know, we have a PCIe Gen 3 16X slot, so this should definitely do us well. The I.O. is, you know, not amazing on the back, but whatever. We're after budget budget and we're trying to actually get something that games now. Oh, and also what I'll do here with these CPUs, since we know we can expect about 150, again, this is probably something where we're gonna have to build up the list and wait to go buy one of these Ryzen 5 3400Gs, or maybe a potential alternative is go find somewhere like Micro Center, which PC Part Picker doesn't pull from, and see if you can pick one up there. So I'm gonna put the price in at 150 here as a manual price entry, just because we know that we can expect that price from that part. Don't pay more than that. Now, next for memory, we definitely don't need to go overboard with that at all, because you know this is a low budget system, and definitely that's a cheap area to upgrade in the future. So I'm gonna target anywhere from 2666 to 3200 memory being the ceiling. You can get by with 8 gigs of RAM, as we've seen in some of my other videos. We're gonna try to shoot for 16 just to have at least that amount of buffer. Let's see what we can get here. All right, so now we're going to select the memory and let's plug in the filters that we are concerned about, which would be the speed, which we want to say as a ceiling as 3200, and a bottom being about 2666. We want 2 by 8 gig sticks to give us 16 gigs, and sort by lowest price. So what do we got here? Okay, so this $62 kit is 3000 megahertz. That's actually not bad, but let's see if we can get, okay, this ADATA XPG kit. That's also 3000 megahertz. I kind of like the look of that better. Let's see here. In stock on Amazon. So this is kind of in the middle, and it's also cast latency 16, so it'll be pretty decent for a Ryzen CPU. You could go a little bit crazier. Maybe we can go up to 3200 megahertz, but we're just after something that we can save the most money possible up front, so that way when it comes time to actually buy a video card, because we already have kind of a decent CPU that's capable of supporting a video card, even though it does have built-in graphics at the same time, it's still a relatively decent CPU. Let's go ahead and add this. All right, for storage, again, we're trying to keep this very cheap and simple, and honestly, I would probably say let's target around the 256 gig, maybe 500 if the prices aren't too crazy different. So let's see what options we have available here. We're not building a high-end system, so I think we can afford to forego some of the higher end drives, which is going to have DRAM, which is going to make the drive faster. Even if we're using an NVMe drive like this Crucial P2, we still are going to take advantage of using the PCIe lanes to transfer the data. And again, we're after a budget PC, so where you would really start to take advantage of the higher end NVMe drives are if you're doing some file transfers on a regular basis and you want to see those speeds bump up a little bit and move a little faster. But I think for someone who's just settled on a budget of around $500 and just wants to get gaming now, then this is a pretty good buy, considering it's got a good volume of 500 gigs, so that should be plenty to get most and all major titles installed, plus multiples of them, as well as we're going to take advantage of the NVMe form factor. So I'm going to add this. I don't think really we're going to get anywhere too much better than that. We might be able to get a little bit more storage out of, like, say, an SSD 2.5 inch, but really honestly this is probably the best we're going to get. All right, so as we mentioned, through all that, we're not going to really focus on getting a video card, which obviously keeps the total cost of this build way low because we're not going to be able to find one, but we will check to see like how that looks here in a minute. But I'm going to skip that for now. We're going to go on to the case. So we're going to choose a case. Again, if your sole focus here is just get gaming, there's no need to really go after anything that is just super flashy, unless you want to, you want to spend the extra money. Well, let's just look at cases that are in about, we'll call it the $30 to $70 range. All right, so I'm going to plug that into my filter. All right, then sort by lowest price. So Fractal Design Core 1100. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Very basic looking. Let's get something that looks a little better than that. See if we can find some RGB. Okay, I think I found something. So we kind of just went down the list not too much further and stumbled across this Cooler Master Master Box MB311. Okay, so we got a case for selling on Newegg for $53. Looks pretty darn solid, honestly. Cooler Master makes pretty good stuff. I know some other tech tubers have built in this and haven't really seen any super hard negatives about this case, and we're not gonna have a super high heat system because we don't have a graphics card in, so I'm not particularly worried about airflow being, not the most optimal thing. So let's go ahead and add this to our card. I'm not even going to look further. I didn't really want to spend a ton either. All right, so where are we at now with everything with no graphics card and kind of a decent looking system with some upgradability? So we're at $400. We should be able to get like a power supply for, I'm hoping around the $30 to $40 mark. That keeps us maybe within $450. So let's take a look here. All right, so what I'm going to do for power supply, I'm going to plug in the 80 plus bronze. We're not going to really go beyond that. We don't need to for a low budget system like this. And the wattages, watts. You know, we're not going to get real high. We're not even concerned about having a high wattage power supply. But if we're looking for maybe a video card that can support us in the future, I would say I'm going to put my highest wattage ceiling at about 700 watts. And let's just say around 380, even though I'm not going to go down that low. 380 as the basement here. And then let's search by lowest price. Okay, so actually awesome. These EVGA BRs, which have normally been a highly recommended power supply by me and other tech YouTubers, but I've used this power supply many times, and for probably the last 6 months plus, they've not been available at a good price, and they are down, way down. Look at this, $31. Added it, didn't even have to think about it. So, all right, so where we sit, $432.92. So not bad, honestly. I think really, you know, yeah, we can pinch some areas and maybe save us a total of anywhere between $30 and $50 on a build with these same kind of parts, same kind of logic in mind. But let's see what we can get with a video card. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Gonna go off and choose a video card in PC Part Picker and show you guys how terrible this is and why I'm actually doing a video here to show you at least some type of gaming option that you can actually go get now without having to either pay ridiculous prices for a video card or having to wait 6 months or more, because honestly, I don't know when this is gonna end. So let's take a look at some video cards here and see if we have any options available to us. All right, taking a look at video cards here, and I already know what to expect, even though I don't know fully what to expect. But some system like this, I'd say a good pairing is somewhere around the range of a RX 570 through RX 580, or on the AMD side, which, as you guys know, I love to do that pairing. Or I would say somewhere on the NVIDIA side, we want to go somewhere around like the 1650 Super upwards to the 1660 Super, 1660 Ti maybe being the top. After that, you're going into 2060, basically is kind of your next echelon of video card, and I'm pretty sure those aren't going to be very available, or if they are, price is going to be insane. But let's just see what we got. So let's start with RX 570. You can tell the enthusiasm in my voice here. All right, so RX 570, sort by lowest price. $213. And I've seen this card before. I've never ever bought an ASRock video card, and that's probably why it's the lowest one on the list. But I think I remember seeing even this video card go for like close to like $100, maybe even less in the past. And okay, here's a card that I've used many times on the channel, the XFX card. I can never say it very fluidly. The XFX, here we go again, XFX card, and good God, $304. That's more than its MSRP new. So who's charging that? Let's just go look. Amazon, of course. It's a third-party Amazon reseller, so don't be tricked by that. So kind of also the purpose of this video, guys, is so you guys can see, you know, there is crazy prices going on with video cards, and don't think that, oh, well, this is the second most cheapest card out there. This card is like 4 to 6 years old right now. Don't get tricked by just because it's the second lowest card on the PC Part Picker list that it's a good deal, because it definitely is not. I've bought this card brand new for like $150 before. I've made videos on it. All right, so we're not off to a good start with RX 570s. I don't really even want to look any further, because if the second cheapest one was $300, which is almost double the value of what it's really worth, we know we're not going to get any better. So, all right, let's abandon that. Let's just see if we can find an RX 580. I know it's going to be worse. It's got to be. Yeah. RX 580 is an XFX card coming in at $359, and it just goes up from there. Okay, so pretty much abandoned that. I don't know if even the 470, 480 models are even sold new. I know they're not produced. Oh my God, $425. Nope. All right, screw that idea. All right, next. Let's see what we got with NVIDIA. Let's just start with the 1650 non-super. Actually, you know what? Let's start with that 1050 Ti. I wouldn't even recommend that because those cards are garbage, but let's just see what we got. GTX 1050 Ti. All right, so GTX 1050 Ti. Oh, jeez. Same story, same terrible story. I mean, the cheapest one is $168. It's this terrible Asus card with, okay, it has HDMI, DVI, and a display port. I mean, this I wouldn't recommend this. No way. This isn't worth $170. Again, you're just getting hit by a third-party reseller that is looking to just steal your money. No way. All right, so 1050 Ti's out. It's not getting better, guys. All right, so GTX 1650. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, oh, there's the lowest price, but still $219. And then it's just astronomically going up from there. Nope, super, $219 starting. Yeah, on this terrible PNY card that I wouldn't recommend. But then the next one up is still not good. A viable like 1650 Super, I would say, is probably this Zotac Gaming Twin Fan, $358. No, and I'll entertain it. 1660 Super, $375 for the cheapest, most garbage card out there. See my point? Can't buy them. They're not available. So let's go back to the part list and just do a quick recap and talk about, what the plans are for this type of build. All right, guys, so conclusion of the part list here, right? We know we don't have a video card. We know the system isn't going to be super capable for gaming if we're wanting to jump on games like Modern Warfare, Cyberpunk, things like that. Now you might be able to get by. Like, I want to test it, so I'm gonna get these parts and we're gonna test. We're gonna benchmark it in a follow-up video. But the idea here is we're getting a system together that will give us some growth potential, and at the immediate moment, give us a gameplay experience. So we know we may not be able to run those AAA titles, but we can probably go play the cheaper titles, CSGO, Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege. You can go have some fun. That's the idea here. And we don't know when video cards are going to be available. We just saw the most ridiculous prices I've probably ever seen ever, and this is exactly why I made this video. Is I want to try to deliver something to you guys that that is within the trends now, being that video cards aren't available. And if you're going to go buy one new, it's terrible. The only other option I would say for that is buy used. So keep your eyes peeled on the used market to actually get something decent. But obviously there's risk with that, and I understand some people don't even want to do that. So here's an all brand new parts build that can get you off to the races gaming. It's got a decent CPU, a good to growth motherboard. What I mean by that is it's a little bit overclockable. It's got 4 DIMM slots. We can put a higher end processor into it. It'll support a video card that we want to put in there that would be of decent power and value. It's got M.2, as well as, we got a pretty decent case that will provide decent level cooling. You can always switch that stuff out too, by the way. And a 450 watt power supply that is of good rating and value, and that type of power supply would definitely be able to support something around what the video cards that we were looking at, RX 570s, RX 580s, 1650 Supers and above. But after you start to crank into like 2060, 2070, maybe even 30 series cards, yeah, you might want to have a little bit more power available to you. I don't know what else to say other than I'm disappointed as a PC builder and someone who still has to go out there and spend my own money to provide content to you guys. This makes it really hard on me to even do that for you guys. I can't do $500, $600, $700, $800, and $1,000 build guides that really make a lot of sense because part availability is bad. Primarily the GPUs, and it's not even the 3000 series or the 6000 series GPUs between AMD and NVIDIA. It's all of them, as you can see. Even these super tight, small, tiny budget video cards that I normally would recommend on my channel, they're not even available. So it's really upsetting to see that. I hope it changes, but don't hold out hope too long. But that's what we're left to here. And I know it's not something that I would typically recommend if you're trying to get off to building a gaming PC, but it's the only option we have available to us, and it's usually readily available. Again, I'll check again on that Ryzen and see if I can snag a Ryzen 5 3400 and actually build this system up for you guys and benchmark it. All in all though, guys, I hope you guys found this at least informative at the very least. And if you are looking to get gaming and you want to play on the lower end spec level, then this can be a guide for you guys, which I'll have in the description below for all the parts that we have listed here. But aside from all that, make sure you do the YouTube thing right. Give me a like if you enjoyed this content and let me know, do you guys find this guide at least informative at the very least, and maybe you can even use it as a tool to get you at least off to gaming on a very minimum spec until you can find a video card. However, if you stuck with the video this long, then I'd like to say thanks for tuning into this one. I appreciate your time, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.